Well, I just watched the unveiling of the new Ford F-150 Lightning, and I thought to myself, I gotta make a video about this right away. Coming from a Ford family, it's something that obviously piqued my interest as it was announced, as did the Ford Bronco. How much I like that new Bronco is yet to be seen. I'm a huge fan of the original Broncos, and I'm a big fan of the late 80s, early 90s Broncos, and I have high hopes for the new ones coming out. The base model small ones, those are icky. But I'm waiting for the 4-door off-road, trail rigs to come out, because those are really exciting to me, and I think there's a ton of potential. And when I saw that Ford was coming out with a full-size electric pickup truck, the antennas went up, I guess you'd say, and I was kind of interested to hear more about it, and I was interested to see exactly what they made this truck look like. So right off the bat, this thing looks great. I think the new Ford F-150 Lightning looks like the next generation, or looks like what the next generation of Ford F-150s would look like. They have the large, I'm assuming, LED lighting strip that runs across, it's the headlight is essentially one big headlight across the front of the car, or front of the truck. Very futuristic, really sleek looking, really bright. Essentially takes away the need for a light bar, right? It goes across the whole entire hood. I think it looks super cool. And they did sort of a reflection of that on the rear end with the taillight running up and across the tailgate and down each of the tail lights on the corners. Kind of a cool thing that ties the front end of the truck into the rear. I'm sort of particular in terms of design. I really like symmetry. I like balance. So I really appreciate what Ford did with the lighting scheme, the lighting setup for this F-150 Lightning. And again, it has sort of that futuristic look. It's something that you would expect of an electric vehicle. With that being said, they sort of held on to the sort of current modern look of the F-150, a bit of a square body, kind of a flat face, nice grille. They sort of retained that grille look. Tesla, for example, it's one thing that annoys me about the Teslas is that it's just like a plain, boring front end. And I know there's no need for a grill per se, because we're not running air across a radiator, right? So a traditional grill is not necessarily necessary. But the F-150 Lightning retained that look, and I feel like that was a smart move from a design standpoint, anyway, an aesthetic standpoint. The truck has 4 doors, full-size bed, and what's really cool, they called it a frunk, which I think is really stupid, but I think it's a cool idea because we don't have a big V8 or a turbocharged 6-cylinder engine under the hood anymore. You pop that hood and there is storage. There's storage. It's, again, they call it a frunk, but is a trunk in the front, right? And apparently there is about 400 pounds of cargo capacity in that front end compartment. The wheels are whatever. They're not ugly, but they're not cool. It's just, again, I'm sure it's in sort of concept stages. I'm not sure this is going to be the final rendition, but I can't imagine they're going to change the wheels. They don't look bad, but they're not my favorite. The interior, though, looks it looks sick to me. Because I think of an F-150 as a work truck. It's not necessarily a luxury truck, but it does look very comfortable. It has a massive touch screen that looks really cool. I'm sure there's lots of bells and whistles, and technology stuff is not really my thing, but it looks really cool. The interior is clean, crisp, modern, nothing fancy, nothing overly done, but it definitely looks nice and comfortable. Steering wheel is sort of an F-150 steering wheel, nothing too impressive there, nothing to really talk about or write home to mom about. I think overall the body lines of the truck are great. Again, it's reminiscent of the current generation of F-150s, and it looks like what I would expect F-150s to look like going further into the 2020s. Now, being a fully electric truck, there's some things that this F-150 Lightning can do that I thought were really cool. There are multiple charging ports on the truck, which makes it very, very convenient. I think they said something like 9 outlets that you can use to, charge battery packs. You can hook up for like drills and power tools and things of that nature. You can hook up a TV, a small refrigerator, lighting. Lighting is another thing. There's a ton of lights around the box and in the cargo areas and storage spaces of this F-150 Lightning, making it really convenient to use this truck in darkness. So if you're using it as a work truck, early hours on the job site where it's dark, late hours on the job site where it's dark, camping. On top of that, another thing you can do is actually use the charged battery of this F-150 to power your house for up to 3 days. I'm sure you can't run your entire house, right? But some of your main appliances, your most important appliances during an outage, can be run off of the battery in the F-150. Now let's talk about performance. This Ford F-150 Lightning all-electric F-150 pickup truck can do 0 to 60 in the mid 4s is what they're claiming. Makes over 600 horsepower and over 770, I think they're approaching 800 foot-pounds of torque, which is really, really impressive. Check these facts. I'm spitballing off the top of my mind here from what I remember from the video, but I'm pretty sure those numbers are accurate. That's really impressive. 10,000 pound towing capacity, and again, you can put up to 400 pounds of cargo in that front trunk space. So on top of the power and the torque and the speed and the towing capacity of 10,000 pounds, a full charged battery essentially is the same as a full tank of gas. You can run this F-150 up to 300 miles on a single charge. And they have over 60,000 charging stations across the country from what I know at this point. So this might not be a practical vehicle to take on a cross-country trip that you wanted to make good time on. You can get 300 miles. People can do 300 miles easily, without stopping for an overnight period. This truck would require you to go, once you hit that 300 mile point, it would require you to do a full overnight charge. So that's just something to keep in mind. But again, sort of the F-150 is not necessarily seen as a road trip vehicle, more of a work and yard work vehicle. They really emphasize the testing of this vehicle and the fact that it is rugged. I know people will make their jokes about Ford all day long, but in my experiences, Ford has been a really reliable manufacturer. But they talked about all the protections and how the batteries are protected under the car and the electronics are protected with shielding and things of that nature. So you can go through water, you can go on rough terrain. There's multiple different driving selections, drive mode selections you can make from sport to off-road to towing. I think it's a really practically set up truck. So a lot of features and benefits about this new F-150 Lightning, no doubt about that whatsoever. I think it's probably going to be one of the faster trucks on the market. Faster than the original SVT Lightning, which is cool, certainly faster than any F-150 that's currently on the road. So pretty awesome truck in terms of a performance standpoint. But I gotta say, when I heard that this truck was going to be unveiled, my expectations were pretty low. But I gotta say, after listening to the unveiling presentation, looking the truck over as much as I possibly could, through the video that they provided, the body lines are nice. The truck still looks like a truck. It still has the F-150 body lines. You can tell it's an F-150, which I like. They did some cool updated things with the lighting, making it look more futuristic, more of an electronic vehicle, more of an EV look to it, which is cool and understandable, but I don't think they swayed too far or diverged too far from the history, the heritage of the F-150 and Ford in general, which I think is a good move on their part. The power and the torque numbers, the towing capacity, the cargo capabilities, the cool, modern, updated look of the interior. It checks a lot of boxes. The ability to run your home off of the electric charge of your F-150 is a pretty cool thing. And since we've experienced some trouble with the power grid, rolling brownouts through California, the issues in Texas that we saw earlier this year with the brownouts there, that could come in really, really handy during, severe weather situations where people are experiencing power outages. So, if you don't have a generator, plug your truck in at least to keep your milk cold for a couple days. So again, my expectations were sort of low, but I gotta say, I think they knocked it out of the park with this one, and it comes in at just under $40,000. And I know the prices change once it actually hits the dealership showroom floors and they start selling to the public. But all of this in a well-equipped truck, obviously that'll be the base model. But under 40 grand for a nice truck, that's nothing to sneeze at these days, considering trucks easily go north of 70, 80 grand. There's no doubt that electric vehicles are the future, or at least a massive part of the future. So I think it's a good thing that we're seeing auto manufacturers try new things and move into different directions and make the market a little bit more competitive in terms of electronic vehicles or electric vehicles. That helps with competition, and it helps keep prices down, and it keeps innovation up. So I'm impressed with Ford for putting out an F-150 Lightning, and I think they did the term or the name, the badge, Lightning. I think they did it justice here with this vehicle. So I'm excited to actually see it. I'm excited to actually see what the final rendition looks like and get these out on the road. As someone that's not all that excited to move away from the internal combustion engine, I think the F-150 Lightning is what an electric truck should be. Now, whether or not it lives up to all of the claims and the hype, that I guess we will find out. But until then, I think they did a good job. And like I said, I'm excited to see it hit the road and see how some of the testing goes. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate the continued support. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of the new F-150 Lightning. And we'll see you in the next one.